Hello everyone, welcome back to the Limit of Adhesion Season 3. This is round 3 of the championship. My name's Gareth and joining me once again in commentary is Jools. Jools, how are you?
Good, thanks. Great to be here at this track that all the drivers love. How are you?
Yep, excellent, thank you. Yeah, the super popular Oran Park is back and this is a real challenge for the drivers this week. These Formula Renault 2.0 cars do not... they're not really very easy to drive around this track, so we were in for a bit of an interesting race ahead. Let's take a look at the championship then. You see David Line ahead of Mark Tranter and Paul Dixon, a great third position in the championship at the moment. That's quite a surprise, isn't it, at the moment, Jools?
Yeah, Paul's got off to a great start. There's a really strong start here.
Yeah, absolutely, and we can see that the A-team currently in the lead of the championship as well against Kairos competition, and LB Racing courtesy of Dixon, and also William Bibby's results are in P3. And third place from last year, Williams' team again showing strongly. They're in fourth place in the championship as well. So we're heading over onto the qualifying now then, and you can see, yeah, first minute already underway. Jools, tell us about this track then. Tell us about some of the interesting quirks and characteristics that people need to be aware of.
There's a lot of bumps. There's a bridge, so it's got a cut over like Suzuka. But the drivers don't seem to like it very much. I think it doesn't really suit the Formula cars we've got here, unfortunately. But it's like an oversized go-kart track, really.
Yeah, no, that's the way I've always seen it as well. And we're watching David Line at the moment from the A-team and tackling some of those bumps. And if we keep an eye out, we should be able to see some of those in particular. For me, I'd say, yeah, that bridge turn, turn 4, is it? Just before they come onto the bridge, there's a huge bump on the way into the braking zone there, which the drivers are going to be aware of. And we see Dave now heading into the sweeper and then into the Coca-Cola corner. A really tricky braking zone if you remember back to the Skip Barber race last season. Hopefully we don't see too many collisions into that corner. We remember the infamous one between Kelly and Miller last time out here. And there's Jason Larson in the alternative Jägermeister green livery this week. That looks really smart. Nice car.
Yeah, hopefully that helps him get some points on the board.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So William Bibby not with us this week, as is also Stephen Batty from the Stupid Aguri team. Neither of those drivers are sadly taking part in this race. Maybe too afraid of the track as well.
You can see that the early pace there is set by one of the EMT cars.
Yes, that's
ETM cars.
ETM, yes. They're not a medical team. And saying that, there's David Line now straight to the top, nearly half a second quicker than Joshka.
Yeah, immediately crushing Joshka's dreams.
And we did find out, didn't we, about the pronunciation. He says it should be Neymut, but he actually quite likes the way we say it with Neymut, so we'll stick with it. And there's Mark Tranter then in the Kairos car, just coming through Momo corner and heading into the famously named, getting all those bumps wrong through the O'Brien aluminium dogleg.
Yeah, that he's given up on that lap there. There's quite a few places in this track where you can end up simulating a ski jump, and
yes.
That corner there is one. If you're not careful, you ski jump into that wall there.
Yeah, and when you fall off the track, you do end up quite far away because there's a bit of a bowl shape from around Momo corner and the dog leg. So yeah, you end up quite far away from the track and struggling to get back in one of these single seaters with. Oh, and there's
the names
Kelly
of this
facing
track
away.
Are just exceptional.
They are, yeah. So this is Shell Oil's corner. Is it a normal sounding name there? Oh, and who's that going round?
Yeah, that's Hankin having an off there.
Yeah, Hankin in one of the little and large team cars. And here is the aforementioned Joshka, cutting back away from him now. So David Lyon currently in the lead. Rob Miller very, very close behind him. And Adam Highfield also showing well, also in the 103s. And was that Lyon who was facing the wrong way, or was that his teammate Gary Jones?
Jones is in the pits now, so it could well have been Jones.
Yeah. And that's Winslow going round then, and nearly collecting the Rumblebees that was behind him.
It's going to be, I think, happening a lot here.
Yeah.
It's very easy to lose it under acceleration on the bumps, or even under braking on the bumps. It's just easy to lose it here.
It's just easy to lose it, yeah. There are a heck of a lot of bumps. And there's Highfield then coming to complete his lap with Will Burnett just ahead of him.
Tranter's languishing down there in 14th at the moment. He was one of the fastest drivers in practice, so I'd expect him to be up there soon with Lyon, Miller and Highfield.
Yes. That sounded like you were trying to say Highfield, but you also wanted to say Heidfeld, so you just went for both. Highfield.
It's just when I'm not concentrating on it, then Heidfeld's going to come out.
We must get Adam's views on Nick Heidfeld. So here's Paul Dixon then in the sole LB car for this week, and just coming over that vicious, it's almost like a ridge across the track in the braking zone for that corner. It's horrible. That corner being called Champion Corner. Oh, and there he is, losing it off the bridge just before he gets to the dip.
He gives up, heads back to the pits.
And there's
Quite a lot of cars on outlaps are in the pits, as we saw like last time as well, I believe, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, look.
Scuba.
Yes, it's not that much of a longer lap, is it? Just about 10 seconds more.
No, it's just a little more easy to lose. So it's not so much on purpose pushing, it's just trying a little bit too hard, not tiptoeing enough in this case.
Indeed. We're now on board then with Rob Miller, currently P2. And he's coming up to Momo Corner. Oh, listen to that curve.
Why is it called Momo?
I imagine it's named after the steering wheels.
Okay. And the dog leg?
Well, O'Brien Aluminium. I bet if you Google it, you'll find a company in Sydney called O'Brien Aluminium. And there's Miller on provisional pole then, a 103.620. Just 8 thousandths of a second faster than Lyon in P2 now.
Yeah, couldn't be much closer than that, could it?
No, look at Highfield. He's just jumped up to only less than 2 tenths behind Miller as well.
And Tranter's more where I'd expect him to be now as well.
Yeah, good spot. And Kelly there, only 4 tenths back, and Joshka Namath is P6, and he's only half a second back as well. So very strong showing from him. And we're now looking at Gary Richards from the Williams team. He's currently in P11, but let's see what he can do on this lap. He's had a good couple of last sectors.
Personal best, yeah.
Yeah,
And he's improved by 3 tenths there.
And up to
Moves on to
P9.
9th place.
And look at Oliver Walker then. He's in P10 at the moment. His second race of the championship. One of our star drivers from the endurance racing last weekend. A number of our drivers were taking part in the endurance race around this track in GT3 cars, so
Yeah.
expect to see some of those actually using that experience to good effect this week.
I just noticed while you were talking then, Lyon took pole back off Miller by 500ths, and then Miller responded and put himself almost 2 tenths clear of Lyon.
Wow, great spot. Sounds like a personal battle going on between these two then. This is exciting.
It does indeed. Kelly's given up because he's in the pits and there's less than a minute to go. So it's all down to Lyon whether we can get that position back.
Yeah. And we see Winslater's deposed Richards, and both of them have deposed Oliver Walker, so looking quite close there. Hankins surprisingly down in 12th. Larson P13. Burnett perhaps a little rusty still, down in 14th, and Gary Jones is
Improvement
15th.
for Larson there, he's picked Hankin.
Great lap from Larson then.
And Miller's gone even quicker. He's now over a quarter of a second clear of Lyon.
Wow,
He's got this last lap to bring it back.
That's astonishing pace. So here we are then. This is Can Line get a last gasp special? No, he's given up on
Looks like
it.
he's given up.
And there's Joshka losing it into Coca-Cola. Such a tricky braking zone in a lot of cars, really, that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was he
Trying to do anything. Currently 7/10 off pole.
Highfield then, he's just opposed David Line off the front row of the grid.
Nice spot there.
His habitual home in season 2, but it looks like it's more of an open field for the front row this season. So here's Tranter out of the final corner then. Let's see what he can do when he crosses the line. No change, still in 4th place.
Looks like Miller has it then.
Yeah, so Miller on pole. Let's take a look at the grid then.
That was a good session. Lots of swapping of positions there, especially for the pole position between Line and Miller before Highfield. Highfield snuck in there and took 2nd place.
Yeah, Highfield's been showing a lot of pace. So Rob Miller on pole then, with Adam Highfield in 2nd position, David Line in 3rd, Mark Tranter in 4th. Then we got Gavin Kelly in 5th place, and Josh Kanema is in 6th. James Garlick is in P7 with Paul Dixon in P8, and then we've got Winslade from the ETM is in 9th, and Richards is in 10th. Walker, Hankin, Larson, Burnett and Gary Jones. So 15 cars on the grid then for this one.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be back up to 17 next race, although that might not happen given what date it's on, but yes.
Yes, indeed. So here's the cars on the grid then, and we wait for the green light. Fingers crossed we get a clean...
Just the last few drivers making their way to their cars, sorting out their fuel levels and checking everything's all in order.
Indeed. Hopefully we get a nice clean start. Now we're looking at our pole sitter then, Rob Miller.
You can just make out there on the engine cover. Booster seat.
Yes. The legendary jibes from his teammate. Right, red lights then, we're ready to race. Engine noise rising. We're very careful with the wheel spin off the line. Here we go then. Oh, look at that quick start by Highfield, and he's jumping Miller. And Line is straight on the attack as well. This is going to be quite interesting as we get through the sweeper and into Coca-Cola. Highfield is in the lead, but Miller sweeping around the outside. Oh, that's brave stuff on the opening lap. And he's holding it. He's going to have the inside
he'll
line.
have the inside line for the next corner. So he may well have fended that off.
A little lock up, but look at that. Miller responding despite his slow start, and he is now back into the lead. Highfield in 2nd. We're now looking at Kelly being attacked by Winslade after to come up over the bridge. So Winslade up 3 places already.
Yeah, his customary fast start.
Yep. And now we wait for his customary fall back down the grid. And we see Richards at the back. He's lost 5 positions, so something must have happened for him as we see Garlick falling back as well. Of course, chaos going on. Lots of action. Yeah, Winslade has now plummeted to 13th, so undoes all of his hard work. Oliver Walker now is fighting hard with James Garlick.
But Miller's got troubles at the front here with Walker attacking up the inside.
That's Highfield. Highfield to the through.
Ugh, sorry, yeah.
We got you with the 2 rumblebees. So Highfield now taking the lead from Rob Miller in 2nd place. Line is in 3rd, Tranter 4th, Kelly 5th, Dixon is now up to 6th place and up 2 positions. So you can see that. Oh, is that someone losing it? Yeah, Line.
Sounded like it, didn't it?
Line sliding wide, and now Tranter attacking him round the outside. This is a customary bold move from Tranter, and he's taken the place.
That was brave around the outside there, well done.
Yeah. Now can Kelly take advantage as well? Line seems to be slightly unsettled. Now.
Yeah, once again, he had the practice pace, he had the qualifying pace, but he's had a poor start.
Yes. So, has Kelly in the slipstream? Let's see. He is quite close.
Yeah, I'd say he's close enough just to get a toe there. Not close enough probably to do anything into this T1.
No, it's a tricky set of corners, as we've said many times. So the gap at the front is nearly 7/10 of a second from Highfield to Miller. And we see Garlic and Oliver Walker are having a tremendous battle. I just keep seeing their names popping up and down. We're looking at...
I think Garlic's having some issues again.
Yes.
With his connection, unfortunately. Keeps on saying he's out.
Yeah, that is a shame. We were just looking there at Josh Namath, who is just ahead of Gary Jones and has lost 5 positions. So both ETM cars having a spin in the opening exchanges. And here's Tranter in the Kairos being chased by Line and Kelly. And look at that, we've got Highfield and Miller going side by side down the main straight. So we can see what's happening. We're on board with Miller now. And we're coming into the sweeper. There's the Rumblebees just ahead of us as we come into Coca-Cola.
It's a long race, so he's just selecting to follow for the moment.
Yeah, it's probably wise.
Size up an opportunity of where he's going to pass.
For such a short track, it's actually quite exhausting to drive, isn't it? With so many, the concentration level is needed to sort of keep the car going over these bumps.
Yeah, the bumps combined with the fact that there's no particularly long straight. Just looking at the order, Larson's a lap down already, and it looks like Richards is out. He's already now 3 laps down. They're only on like lap 4 here.
Yeah, very good spot there. See, is that Burnett now? Right down in 13th place then, last on the current lap.
Yeah, it looks like he might have visited the pits.
Yes. So we've got these front 4 or 5 cars, and then there's a huge field spread back down to Oliver Walker, and then all the way down to Gary Jones. Now 21 seconds off the lead. Just shows you the difficulty on this track. So here's our front 2 still. Highfield Miller. Tranter closing in behind them. Current fastest lap of the race with Mark Tranter. 103.888.
Yeah, finding the grip that no one else can find. He's hunting the top 2 down.
Yeah. Now if Miller does want it... Wow, what's going on here then? Look at that.
Mistake from Highfield there.
Mistake from Highfield, but Miller with a very rapid awareness to sort of change his line and make the attack into Momo there. And look, Highfield's just dropped it. Oh, that's unfortunate. And wow, he was lucky not to get miles off the track actually, because as I said before, that huge bowl of grass there that runs down to a little pond by Momo Corner. So you can end up down there for quite a significant length of time. But he's recovered. He's currently P5.
Yeah, he probably got away with that as best he could. Could have gone a lot worse. And it looks like Tranter's catching Miller at the front as well. He's right on his tail.
Yeah, we're looking at the second little and large of Winsley going round again. And that's
a replay
from the first lap.
Of lap 1.
So we still cut away from him spinning to a replay of him spinning, and that's the second ETM. That's his teammate Joshka into the wall at Coca-Cola.
Crunch.
Bit of a crunchy one, yeah. And I noticed actually that Oliver Walker is running minus engine cover at the moment, when we were seeing Hankin attacking him earlier. And here's a replay of that's oh gee. So that was
close.
Yeah, that was very close. That was Burnett dropping it on the final corner, Recaro, and going into the pits. So here we are, Gavin Kelly now up to P3 with Highfield's demise. Both of them ahead of Line. So has Line had a spin as well?
Yeah, looks like Line's also had another incident.
But one that's more severe because he's fallen right back from these guys, and it looks like Dixon in fact closing it. Oh, look at that.
Kelly's wide.
There's Kelly outbraking himself. Well done to keep it out of the wall there from Kelly. Because once you get on that gravel...
Yeah, that was the end of his race last season.
Yeah.
That wall there. Well, he got going again, but he didn't manage to make it back into the points.
No. But once you get on that gravel there, it does sort of suck you all the way to that tyre barrier. So, yeah, well done to get it slowed down on the track. So this is exciting to see if Paul Dixon can attack David Lyon ahead of him. They're not far apart at the moment.
There's that missing engine cover you were talking about.
Yes. So that must have been in the first couple of laps. We're on board with Hankin then. Chasing that
It's
Rumble
quite a
Bee.
hot day here, so that'll be helping the engine, I imagine.
Yeah, but not helping with the grip levels and the tyres. So let's see if Hankin can get a run down to the first corner. He's really in the slipstream of Walker ahead of him. As we come to the corner, here it is. Is he going to break? No. Oh, well defended there by Walker, just to keep the little and large car behind him. So let's take a run down the order then. Rob Miller back in front, ahead of Tranter in P2. Then we've got Highfield P3. Kelly is in 4th, Lyon is in 5th, Dixon 6th, Garlick is in 7th, but blinking in and out of existence somewhat. Walker is in 8th, Hankin 9th, and Winslade is in 10th. And then we've got Nemeth and Jones, Burnett, Larson and Richards, who does seem to be running actually. He's only 2 laps down now, so...
Yeah, it looks like he had a temporary issue. He's got back in, but unfortunately it's going to be a big ask for him to get back into the points.
Indeed, yeah. But look at this end. Hankin is stalking Walker and hunting him all over the place.
Yeah, it's a case of when, I think, rather than if he's going to get past.
Yeah, it's looking like a tremendous scrap. See if Walker can soak up that pressure. Well, Hankin to the outside. A little cheeky turn of the wheel there from Walker. Hankin avoided it.
Yeah, that was quite a jump out of the way there.
Yes.
Probably he didn't need to quite look so drastically move out of the way, but just being careful. It's still quite a long way to go.
Indeed. And we saw Winslade closing back in on them behind, so he got close once and then binned it, so let's see if he can do it again.
Yeah, the ETMs are showing some good pace. They're in the 104s, which is what the leaders are doing aside from Tranter.
Yeah.
So they'll be looking to make up a few places here.
Providing they can keep it on the road for the next 20 minutes, because as we said before, it's a tough old track. Look at that, Tranter, is that running wide a bit? Or is that just the line he wanted to take?
Yeah, lots of easy to make mistakes here.
Yeah, and you see Burnett then, he's getting in. He's going to be letting the leaders past. He's already let Miller and Tranter through. Highfield and Kelly next on the list.
There's a cone in the middle of the track there.
Someone's already
trying to just avoid it.
Yep. Someone's presumably collected that. Do you think a cone would damage the front wing if it gets rammed at high speed?
I don't think you'd want to do that, definitely.
Yeah.
It might get stuck.
Indeed, yeah. It's going to ruin your aero somewhat. So here's our leaders. Tranter just extending the gap by 3/10. Tranter falling away from Miller by 3/10 that lap. So that's Miller extending his gap. That was 0.9 before, now 1.2.
Yeah, looks like Tranter's hanging on, but I don't know. I don't know whether he's going to be able to close in on Miller here. Miller seems very, very rapid around here today.
Indeed, yeah. And apart from that, the other close battle would be Highfield and Kelly, who's stalking him quite nicely behind. Both of them running very similar pace.
And it looks like we might go back to Walker and Hankin as well, because they're pretty close up, and here we are.
Yeah, so Walker's Rumblebee's car looking slightly second hand at the moment with that slightly crumpled rear wing and missing that engine cover. And here they come up over the bridge once again.
I do like this corner over the bridge.
Yeah, that's a nice one. But then
I recall from last season the Kimberley and Jones battle over the bridge was one of the highlights.
Yeah, that was a stunning move. And then we've just come through the dip, which was the scene of probably the worst part of one of the worst bits of the race, where Winslade blocked Garlick and let Lyon through to win the race inadvertently. But
I think that's already gone down in the Limit of Adhesion legend, that incident.
Yes.
It looks like a much better run from Hankin this time.
You're right, well
He's
spotted.
forced himself to the inside.
He goes then, but
He's backed out.
yeah, he braked very early there. I mean, we saw last year that you don't want to be going into T1 on the wrong line, but I'm surprised how cautious he was there.
He's just testing the waters by the looks of it. He can see he has the pace. It's just a case of getting it done safely.
But is that... I get what you're saying, but surely he should just try and get through quickly, because Walker is going to be very aware and learning all of the things that Hankin is going to be doing to try and get past. So, he could be opening himself up for more misery, because Walker is just going to place the car exactly where he needs to stop Hankin getting through.
I don't know. I mean, it looks like he could go outside or inside. So I don't know that Walker would be able to do anything about it once he commits. You got to think that Hankin hasn't got any points yet, so he's looking to at least get something out of this race, and he is in the points at the moment.
Yeah. Well, here he goes again, and Walker picking his line. That's nice racing, though, isn't it? He just picks his lane and stays with it, doesn't do anything silly on the way down the straight, and Hankin does get the move done. So, like you say.
Our drivers are mostly well behaved.
Indeed.
Incidents tend to be misunderstandings rather than anything more sinister.
Yes.
And, it took him a few laps, but he did it to perfection.
Yeah, and there's our lovely new replay graphic. Seeing it for the again.
Oh.
It's Burnett getting it wrong through the dogleg. Ow. Crunchy. And that's it'd be his second pit visit, so presumably not getting back into the race. We've got a replay of Winslade losing it then. Same. Unless his team nearly getting wiped out by Winslade. And that's at Momo. And there's the lake, look at that green barrier surrounding it. So that's the low point of the circuit. And here's Tranter on a replay now. Coming through Champion Corner, and round he goes just before the bridge.
Nice little pirouette there, and away he goes. So that would explain why he's now 6.3 seconds off Miller.
Indeed, yeah. And you were asking about Momo Corner, and I'm convinced now that it's definitely due to the people who make steering wheels and seats and stuff, because you know what the final corner is called? Recaro. So there,
Recaro, yes.
Yeah. So it's got that kind. Yeah.
No prizes for guessing what Foster's dip is named after.
Some bloke called Foster. So here we're looking then at Highfield with Kelly still chasing him. There's less than a second between the two of them now, and that was a quicker lap for Kelly than Highfield.
Yeah, past 2 laps it looks like he's begun to reel him in.
Yeah. But of course, that's interesting actually. Both of them have done a faster lap than Lyon, who's behind them currently. So is Lyon conserving his tyres, or has he just run out of pace? We'll have to wait and see.
Maybe he's doing some work on the side.
Yeah, that man is a busy man. So let's take a run down the order then. On lap 15 we've got Rob Miller leading the race still from Mark Tranter in P2. Highfield is in P3. Then we've got Kelly, Lyon, Garlick, Hankin, Walker running a great 8th place. Limut is in 9th. Dixon is in 10th. And then Jones, Winslade, Larson, Richards and Burnett all at least 1 lap down, it looks like now.
Yeah. Looks like Burnett's parked.
Yes.
Or he's getting extensive repairs.
And we're on board with Oliver Walker being chased by Josh Knamet from the ETM, the European Tourenwagen Masters. So come through Recaro to start another lap.
Yeah, he's reeled him in over the past 4 or so laps. You can look at the gap coming down there.
Yeah.
So again, this looks like a when rather than if he passes.
Well, to the outside he goes.
Outside there.
That would have been very bold if he'd managed that.
Yes.
So it looks like Jones and Winslade haven't yet been lapped, but that one's definitely a case of when. I'd like to see, 1:17 from Winslade that lap, so Yet another mistake made, and that would explain why Jones is ahead of him. Oh, as I say that, he was. Those two are having an interesting time of it. And we're looking at Oliver Walker from the Rumblebees team then, once again. That almost confused me then, because I saw a yellow car and his helmet design is very similar to Rob Miller's as well. Both of them got a light blue helmet.
Yeah, there's quite a few yellow cars.
Yeah. Last season it was all about the orange, and this season all about the yellow. And there's Joshka then to the inside. Oh, was he going to get it?
Very decisive move.
That was a brilliant move. Well done. Nicely done by Joshka Name It, who is now up to P8 with Oliver Walker now down to P9.
As Jones deposes Winslade again.
We need to get some replays of what's been going on with those guys around the back. Some antics.
That was a poor lap for Miller. I wonder if he was lapping someone then. Yeah, looks like he's just got past Jones and Winslade.
Yeah. 117 and a 113. So Jones and Winslade again having poor laps. So the wheels are starting to come off for Winslade. And here's a replay of Paul Dixon in the LB just running wide. Ooh, he's going to get it out.
Just doing a little bit of grass trimming there.
Yeah. And here's the reason why Winslade's having issues. He runs wide. Oh, into the wall. Crunchy. Gets it out. He's got a bit of a bent wing.
Yeah, that doesn't look healthy, does it?
No. Still going, no?
Of course, when Kelly went in there, his wheels came off, so...
Yeah. And here's a replay of Gary Jones then. So Gary span it. And here comes Winslade behind him.
Leaping like a graceful salmon.
And the bear just got him. I know. It doesn't really work though, because obviously James Garlick is the bear, and he's currently running P6. Well, look at this, and Kelly is definitely closing in on Highfield ahead of him. We could be getting something tasty going on for third and fourth.
Yeah, and Line is in touching distance from time.
Excellent.
So if anything happens, he's there ready to pick up the pieces.
Well, we could be shaping up for a very exciting end of the race. Wow, look at Highfield's car over that ridge we've been talking about. It's such a nasty bump. Oh god, flashbacks. We've got Winslade is about to be lapped as he comes through the Foster's dip. As we see Dixon getting it wrong and having a spin.
I'm sure Winslade will be a total gentleman.
Well, yeah, I mean,
fact,
we know he tries.
I can see they're already past him, and the line is closing upon him now.
Yeah, that was as you say, that was the first one of the first awarded penalties. Who's that? Is that Hankin then? Yep. Why am I saying who's that when it's clearly visible on the screen? I think I was panicking. It would be our race leader.
It could have been our leader.
Yeah. He's currently enjoying a 6-second lead. Is this the biggest gap we've seen from the leader in one of these Formula Renault races so far?
Yeah, I believe so, and most Skippy races as well.
Yeah.
I think the last time we saw these kind of leads were in the Radicals.
Oh, indeed, yeah. Good point. We're on board with Gavin Kelly in the Stupid Aguri, the sole Stupid Aguri this week. Hopefully Stephen Batty's back with us next time out.
Yeah, these guys, their pace is very similar, so
yeah,
it's going to be a case of where can I pass? That's what I'll be thinking.
So what's the key then, Jools, to consistent driving around this track as we ride on board with Gavin Kelly coming through the sweeper and into Coca-Cola? Because
don't do that, I think, is the thing. You want to brake a bit earlier.
Yeah.
You've got to be... I think if you're driving on the edge, you're going to make mistakes. It's just too bumpy. So you have to rein it in a bit to drive consistently around here.
Yeah.
It was much, I think, more enjoyable in the GT3 cars. They're much more suited to it, although a bit harder to pass with them since they are so massive in comparison to these cars.
Yeah, indeed. They can be a bit of a tank, can't they? So, and yeah, talking about the endurance racing then, so we had 3 teams competing in the Saturday event, all finishing sort of 14th, 16th and 18th, I believe it was.
Yeah, I think they had the pace to be top 10, all of them, but unfortunately there was a hardware failure and a couple of pumps we were on the receiving end of, which required repairs. So yeah, there was a fight back into those positions, but I think all of them had the pace for top 10.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was a good debut, first foray into the world of endurance. So encouraging to see. Was that another knock up there by Kelly?
Yeah, I think he's pushing a bit too hard. He's dropped back now. He's been going a bit late on the brakes and going wide.
You could hear the car skipping over that bridge just then.
Yeah.
So,
and this has allowed line to close within a second, so it's probably likely Kelly's looking in his mirrors rather than in front now.
Yeah. And it would be interesting to see, because Line frequently complained in Season 2 that while he had the pace to be fast, he wasn't particularly... he didn't rate himself as being much of an overtaker, so I'll be interested to see what he can do if he does close in on Kelly. I mean, the pace is very similar, like you say, not too much of a differential, which you would need for an overtake, but...
Absolutely, but back to what you were talking about with the endurance, we did fare a lot better on Sunday, didn't we?
We did indeed, yes, and I was going to bring it back to that, but obviously this is quite interesting with the battle going on. But yes, the Limit of Adhesion returned to the track on the Sunday with a fantastic P4 for Oliver Walker and Adam Highfield, and who was our third driver in that car?
Larson.
Jason Larson, that's right, yeah.
Jason Larson.
Finished the race for the team and fought back to a P4. That was a brilliant race from all 3 of them, so well done you guys. There is Adam Highfield from the team. And now, yeah, so the 2 Rumblebees and Larson from the Jägermeister team working together brilliantly. And where are the team going to be racing next? Oh, that was Larson. Yeah.
just deciding to, I don't know, maybe he's popping down to that pond.
Yeah. So Larson finding the, you can see there was Winslade stuck in the pits, and another, it looked like a Williams in behind him. That was Richards then. So yeah, where are they going to be doing an endurance race next then, Jools?
Laguna Seca is the next one that they're practicing for.
The fearsome Laguna.
They decided, I think there was one attempt at Imola which was fraught with, I think it was a 15-minute pit stop for damage, which put them out of the contention.
Wow.
So now they're looking ahead to Laguna Seca.
Yeah, 15-minute pit stop in a 3-hour race is pretty brutal.
Yeah, absolutely. There's not much coming back. I think they were last or second to last of those that actually finished, but they kept going. They didn't give up. Quite a few dropped out, so they made back a few places.
Excellent stuff, and that was the team of Dixon, Hankin, and William Bibby.
And Bibby.
Yeah. And we're looking at Adam Highfield currently running P3. You see, Trent has closed in a bit on Miller in the last few laps, taking 7/10 out of him, but
yeah, you've got to imagine that Miller with that lead is just getting it to the end, surely.
Totally.
No, he doesn't want to make a mistake, because if he does spin, he's close enough that Tranter would get past.
Yes, yeah, and
so
Highfield.
If I was Miller, I would be driving about 90%.
Wow, I thought you'd even be saying it 80%.
Don't want to let him get too close.
No. So here we can see then that David Line is definitely reeling in Kelly and causing a lot of pressure, but Kelly is back on the gearbox of Highfield, so we've got a lovely train going on here.
Yeah, these 3 aren't taking it at 90 or 80%, are they?
No,
these guys are trying.
There's still a chance for a podium here. So out of Recaro one more time then. To complete lap 26. Just under 3 minutes left on the clock of the race, so there is still time for some action. Line looking very menacing behind Kelly as they come into Coca-Cola one more time. Tranter now down to 4 seconds behind Miller, so definitely in conservation mode is Rob Miller in the front.
Yeah, it looks like Miller just had to lap 2 cars looking at the tracker there.
Yeah.
So that may account for some of that, but Line is right on the tail of Kelly here.
Yeah, this is getting very close for comfort. And we can see that from P7 down have all now been lapped. Well, it says... Walker's gone blue to suggest he's going to be lapped, but he hasn't actually gone...
Yeah, he's close, isn't he? He's almost been lapped.
And you can see, James Garlick popping in and out and saying he's out, and then he's back in. So hopefully you can get that 4G network stabilised for next time out. 104.0 for Kelly that lap. Is that 3/10 quicker than Line, which will give him a bit of a breather into Coca-Cola this lap.
Yeah, that was his personal best. Drew him right up to the back of Highfield.
Nice. So, just under 2 minutes then. And Kelly looking to the outside of Shell. That is an decent overtaking spot if you can manage it on the getting out of this turn 2 fast enough. You can definitely make something happen in Shell, but you've got to be bold with it. As they come through Momo once again. Highfield, Kelly and Line, and Miller has started his final lap. See the graphic at the top, a new graphic for this race. Oh, a little lock-up from...
Lock-ups from... Was it all of them? Or
nearly
just
all of them,
two?
yeah, it was at least Highfield and Kelly, wasn't it? And a new fastest lap from Tranter then, 103.666. That's rapid.
He hasn't given up, has
No.
he? He never gives up.
3.6 seconds is the gap now, but with 1 lap to go, Miller will be driving, well, on his tiptoes trying to keep it round. And Line just trying to attack. Oh, be bold into champion. Well, it would be a champion move, that would be. Is he going to get the run onto the bridge though? Here he goes.
Yeah.
Oh, dive to the inside. Kelly sweeps through. So we're just waiting.
There was certainly an attempt there on the bridge.
Yeah, no, that was a good, decent attack. And Rob Miller has won the race then, but we are focusing on the battle for P3. Tranter comes home second place. But look at that, Highfield has actually scampered away slightly, somewhat with the battle going on. We've got a drag race. Here he goes. No, nothing doing. That was super close though. So, Highfield hangs on to P3, Kelly hangs on to P4, and Line hangs on to P5. And we wait for James Garlick to come home in P6.
It's like Oliver Walker was lapped there at the end.
Yeah, but Oliver Walker needs some serious credit for coming home P7. Wow.
Well, yeah, it's impressive. The car made it to the end.
Yeah, as he gets a side wheelie there as he came through with a huge amount of curb. And we wait to get final classifications then of this race. Here we go then. Rob Miller comes home, our third different winner in 3 races, with Mark Tranter in second. Adam Highfield comes home third and on the podium. Kelly is in fourth, with Line in fifth. Garlick is in sixth. Walker 7th. 8th is Namath. 9th is Hankin. 10th is Dixon. Jones 11th. Larson 12th. Then Richards 13th. And Winslade and Burnett both retired from the race.
Yeah, pretty dominant win there. I mean, the gap between first and second isn't really representative because I think Miller was taking it easy at the end.
Oh, I totally agree, yeah. And as we take a look at the championship standings, Mark Tranter returns to the top, 5 points clear of Line. Miller up 1 place to third, and Highfield up 1 place as well, as is Kelly. Dixon down 3 places, with all those guys finishing ahead of him. Garlick up 2 places, is in 7th in the championship. Namath is in 8th, and Richards 9th, Bibby 10th, Walker now 11th, and 1 place ahead of Winslade. So a great haul of points he got there. That's really helped his championship out.
Yeah, absolutely. And as the last round, Miller and Kelly didn't score. Kelly because of a disconnect, and Miller because he last lap chucked it off.
Yeah, good point.
Dropped out the points.
Let's take a look at the team standings then. Kairos again returning to the top of the standings, 58 points from the A team, 53 points. So both of those, yeah, because Jones yet to score, so it's effectively the two drivers' totals. Little and Large are up 3 places into 3rd place ahead of the Rumblebees, and LB Racing falling down a bit, but they're ahead of Williams, Stupid Aguri, ETM and Jägermeister. So,
okay, well, yeah,
tough old race there for many of the drivers. A lot of spins.
Certainly, yeah, a lot of mistakes.
Indeed, yeah. And just a reminder, you can find us at thelimitofadhesion.com, on Facebook at The Limit of Adhesion. Please like and subscribe to the videos and come say hi to us on our Discord. Thanks so much for being with us, Jools.
Thanks very much, Gareth.
Cheers, guys. Bye.